Oda has finally revealed Loki's legendary devil fruit. And not only that, but Loki's hammer has also eaten a devil fruit of its own, a squirrel devil fruit, and it's actually really cute. I'm almost certain that Ragnir will eventually bond with both Chopper and Usopp. With Chopper, the reason is obvious. Chopper will most likely act as Ragnir's translator. As for Usopp, I strongly believe Ragnir will constantly try to eat his pop greens. Oda once mentioned that Usopp has his own garden where he grows pop greens, meaning Ragnir could have an endless supply of food. This recent color spread might actually be hinting at that future dynamic. But more importantly, the fact that Ragnir has eaten a squirrel devil fruit directly points to Ratatoskr, and Ratatoskr is the key to fully understanding and revealing Loki's devil fruit. In Norse mythology, Ratatoskr is a mischievous squirrel that runs up and down the world tree, Yggdrasil, carrying insults and messages between the eagle perched at its top and the serpent Nidhogg gnawing at its roots. By doing so, Ratatoskr fuels their hatred for each other and accelerates the decay of the world tree itself. But now, when we look at the mural shown in One Piece, we can clearly see some creatures resembling an eagle and a serpent. This immediately raises an interesting question. Who is the eagle in One Piece? The serpent part seems far more obvious. Nidhogg seems to be Loki. Oda is genuinely cooking with this idea. Loki having the Nidhogg Zoan devil fruit was foreshadowed from the very beginning. In Norse mythology, Nidhogg is a massive serpent-like dragon that lives underground in hell beneath the world tree, constantly chewing away at its roots. And Loki was chained in the underground for most of his life. Not only that, but Loki literally turned Elbaf's hell into his own playground. Loki even states outright that he will destroy the world, which directly references Nidhogg's role during Ragnarok. If the roots of the world tree are destroyed, then all the worlds connected through Yggdrasil would inevitably collapse. Even Loki being born with serpent-like eyes points him directly towards this devil fruit. I also believe Loki's tattoos are extremely meaningful. The markings on his body resemble wings or scales, which could be a deliberate reference to Nidhogg being the only winged serpent in Norse mythology. This visual symbolism feels very intentional. Interestingly, in historical Viking society, Nid was a term associated with deep social shame and stigma. It implied the loss of honor and branded someone as a villain or an outcast. The definition aligns perfectly with Loki's role and reputation within Elbaf and the wider world. Another fascinating detail is that the original Nidhogg from Norse mythology does not possess lightning powers. The lightning aspect appears to be an original twist by Oda. This is supported by the fact that the name Nidhogg in chapter 1142 is written using these kanji, which translates to lightning dragon. Oda had already revealed Nidhogg earlier in the story, explicitly labeled him as a lightning dragon, and also gave Loki lightning powers out of nowhere. This is not a coincidence. Based on the fact that Loki was able to cancel Harald's regeneration using this devil fruit, it's very possible that the fruit possesses soul-damaging or soul-manipulating attacks as well. If that's true, Loki would essentially be a fusion of Kaido and Big Mom, a dragon with devastating physical powers combined with soul-based abilities. This alone would make him one of the most terrifying characters in the series. More importantly, this feat would make Loki the first person in the story to actually kill an immortal holy knight. Not even Rox D. Xebec managed to accomplish that, and Harald was certainly no weakling. Because of this, I believe there is at least a 90% chance that Loki's devil fruit can nullify Emu's regeneration and immortality abilities. Rox once mentioned that there were 2 devil fruits he was actively searching for, fruits he believed would allow him to defeat Emu and become king of the world. He also wanted Harald to consume Elbaf's legendary devil fruit. Taking all of this into account, it feels almost confirmed that Loki's fruit is one of the 2 devil fruits Rox was referring to. If it truly has the power to nullify regeneration and immortality, then it aligns perfectly with Rox's original plan. Speaking of Rox, there must be a very specific reason why Oda chose to show us the interaction between Rox and Loki. This moment is not random at all. Even though we technically saw Rox's backstory, it was framed through Loki's flashback, and more importantly, Rox was clearly portrayed as Loki's hero. That detail alone tells us that this connection will matter later, and I believe the reveal of Loki's legendary devil fruit helps explain exactly why Oda included it. According to Norse mythology, when the apocalypse known as Ragnarok begins, Nidhoggr will eventually fly out from beneath the roots of Yggdrasil to aid the Jotnar in their final battle against the gods. In the context of One Piece, the role of the Jotnar can realistically be fulfilled by either Luffy or Blackbeard, and no matter how much I personally want Loki to become an ally of the Straw Hats, every hint, parallel, and mythological connection points me toward a different conclusion. Loki is far more likely to help Blackbeard. First of all, the Jotnar archetype fits Teach much better than it fits Luffy. Jotnar are not saviors, they are forces of chaos that exist to destabilize the world order. That is exactly what Blackbeard does. Some might argue that Luffy also disrupts the world, and that's true to an extent, but the difference is still huge. Like the ancient giants waiting for Ragnarok, Blackbeard plans in the shadows, hides his true intentions, and strikes only when the moment is perfect. An unnatural body, rule-breaking powers, defying fate itself, this is pure Jotun energy. Jotnar exist to challenge the Aesir, and in One Piece, Blackbeard openly moves against the world government. That shared enemy, Emu, further strengthens the connection between Loki and Teach. There are also strong parallels between Loki and Blackbeard. Both of their fathers were legendary powerful figures, yet both met some of the most tragic ends in the entire story. Both fathers were turned into demons by Emu, and both were forced into situations where they had to harm or be killed by those closest to them. Rox was killed by Figurlin Garling, if we can even call it a kill, but what matters is that Rox was still alive, and the world government made sure to erase him. Harold, on the other hand, was killed by his own son because there was no other way. Both Loki and Blackbeard deeply hate the celestial dragons. Teach's ultimate goal is to become king of the world, while Loki wants to destroy the world as it currently exists. That is, to destroy Emu and the system Emu represents. In the end, they share the same enemy, the same symbol of absolute authority they despise above all else. Mythologically and narratively, their fates feel intertwined. Because of this, if I had to choose right now, Loki aiding Blackbeard feels far more likely than Loki joining the Straw Hats. That doesn't mean Loki is evil or that he fully supports Teach. One Piece has never been a story where everything is divided cleanly into good and evil. Vegapunk himself stated that he could not clearly define who was right or wrong when discussing the Void Century. The same principle applies here. Even if Blackbeard is a villain from our perspective, because we follow Luffy's journey, his goal of defeating Emu might not be seen as villainous by everyone in the world of One Piece, especially not Loki, who shares that exact objective. Loki witnessed what happened to Harold when he chose to align with the world government. We also saw Loki's raw hatred toward the Holy Knights during his interactions with Shamrock and Gunko. There is no one, not even Luffy, who can stop Loki's desire for revenge. And it's important to remember that Loki does not need saving. He doesn't need redemption or a change of heart. He's not lost. Loki simply wants to destroy the world government for everything they did to Harold and to Elbaf. And for that goal, Blackbeard is a far more effective and logical ally. Of course, everything ultimately depends on how the story continues, but if we're drawing a direct parallel to Nidhogg aiding the Jotnar in their war against the gods, then the modern One Piece equivalent, at least for now, feels clear to me. Loki and Blackbeard standing together against Emu. Rox needed 2 devil fruits to defeat Emu, and when you look at Loki's devil fruit and Blackbeard's Yami Yami no Mi, they feel like the perfect combination. To sum up Loki's powers, he possesses Elbaf's legendary Devil Fruit, a fruit powerful enough to defeat an Emu-boosted Herald. On top of that, he wields a legendary Devil Fruit weapon, which is already extremely strong even on its own. Loki also has insane advanced Conqueror's Haki, Future Sight, which he clearly demonstrated against Gunko, ancient giant blood, overwhelming physical strength, and those mysterious special eyes. Altogether, Loki is genuinely one of the most overpowered and best written characters we've seen so far. And all of this development happened in just around 25 chapters. That alone is insane. And this leads me to one big question. How did Shanks defeat him after 8 years? In this flashback, at least to me, Loki looks far stronger. He had 8 full years to master his legendary Devil Fruit and his new weapon, yet somehow Shanks still managed to defeat him. That outcome feels strange, especially considering everything we now know about Loki. One possible explanation is that Loki voluntarily accepted being branded as a criminal so that his father's name would remain clean. His defeat by Shanks may have happened specifically so the world would truly believe he was a villain. Skopper Gaban and the others may have agreed to keep the truth hidden. Perhaps Shanks and Gaban spoke with Loki about his Devil Fruit and how important his future role would be, and because of that, Loki had to remain in Elbaf until the appointed day arrived. Of course, this is still speculation, but it is a possibility, and I honestly cannot wait to find out what actually happened 6 years ago. Even though this chapter mainly focused on Loki and Harold, Shanks and Skopper Gaban also revealed some extremely important information. It now appears that the Holy Knight's biggest weakness is Conqueror's Haki, and that the Roger pirates stopped them many times when they attempted to steal Shanks from the ship. The weakness itself is not surprising. We've already seen that strong Conqueror's Haki slows down their regeneration. But what truly surprised me is the revelation that the Holy Knights seemingly do not possess Conqueror's Haki at all. And this raises 2 major points. First, we still don't know whether Shanks' family, Shamrock and Garling, have Conqueror's Haki. Personally, I think it would make absolutely no sense if they didn't. They are clearly being set up as extremely important figures for the final war, and not having King's Haki would be a massive downgrade in power. Shanks has some of the strongest Haki in the entire series, if not the strongest. So if he's the only one in his family with Conqueror's Haki, that could reveal something extremely important about this mysterious ability. Why only a very small number of characters possess it in the first place. The second shocking detail is that all of the Gorosei seemingly do possess Conqueror's Haki. We've already seen it from Mars, Nejuro, and Warcury. So right now the situation looks like this. The Holy Knights do not have Conqueror's Haki, while the Gorosei do. This leads me to believe that this is the real difference between the Deep Sea and the Deep Sea contracts. The Deep Sea contract appears to be granted directly by Emu once someone officially joins the Knights of God. It grants abilities such as teleportation, regeneration, and immortality, along along with an unbreakable tie to Imu that works regardless of distance. Up until now, there seemed to be no real difference between the Holy Knights contracts and the Gorosei's contracts since both groups displayed similar abilities. But after this chapter, I believe the key difference is Conqueror's Haki. The Gorosei are likely able to use a portion of Imu's Conqueror's Haki thanks to the Deep Sea contract, and that is the true upgrade. Because while 4 Holy Knights were enough to cause chaos in Elbaf, I honestly wouldn't call their feats impressive. Skopper Gaban casually cut Summers and stopped his regeneration, and now it's revealed that the Roger pirates regularly defeated the Holy Knights in the past. Yes, we are talking about the crew of the Pirate King, but even so, Oda made it look surprisingly easy to injure and suppress the Holy Knights despite their regeneration powers. Now imagine something far worse. Stronger characters than the Holy Knights, characters who also possess Conqueror's Haki, and there are 5 of them. That is the real threat. We actually saw something very similar in this chapter. Harold, a powerful character with both King's Haki and regeneration. Even Shanks and Skopper Gaban could not defeat him. In the end, Loki had to eat Elbaf's legendary devil fruit to bring him down. The same thing applies to Saturn. At Egghead, he was stabbed, punched, thrown, and sliced apart, yet nothing truly affected him. In the end, only Imu himself could kill him. So the question becomes, how do you defeat 5 characters like Saturn and Harold? Yes, Loki has a power that can nullify regeneration and immortality, but can he defeat all 5 Gorosei alone? With all due respect to Loki, I don't think so. I believe Oda will reveal a new level of Conqueror's Haki, as he usually does, especially through the Roger pirates. Rayleigh vs. Kizaru introduced Haki. Odin defeated Kaido with a single Conqueror's Haki-coated strike, and Gaban required repeated Conqueror's Haki-coated attacks to bring Harold down. Every arc introduces stronger enemies, and with them, new levels and variations of Haki are revealed. I'm going to make a separate video focusing entirely on this topic, so make sure to subscribe for upcoming videos. Most likely this chapter marked the end of the flashback, and honestly, it was a fantastic one. One of Oda's best, if not the best. Every chapter of it was incredible. Now that we have the full picture of Harold's death, I think we can all agree that Oda truly cooked with his character. The conversation between father and son was deeply emotional, and Harold going out with hope, believing that Loki would protect the future of Elbaf, was the perfect ending for him. Yes, Harold might not have been the greatest politician or the ideal king Elbaf could have had, but it still hurts to see him die this way. Both him and especially Rox. Rox lived free but died manipulated. Harold lived manipulated but died free. 2 sides of the same coin, separated by fate. Write your own opinions in the comments and share what you think will happen in the next chapters.